And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcast comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. This vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect because, believe it or not, the shirt that I'm wearing this time, yes, it is the Hawaiian shirt that I bought at work when we were having a Hawaiian shirt day. And it is, for all practical terms, the lightest piece of fabric that I wear, figuratively and literally. And literally, because it's been hot as balls and sticky as hell this past week, and I'm not at all happy about it because it's been taking a whole bunch of strength out of me. And part of this is to follow through with the old adage that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. I'm your main host. I'm known as Shujin Tribble, and you can find me pretty much everywhere under that name. That's Shujin. Yes, you can hear me this time. I tinkered a little bit with my sound settings and finally figured out a little bit of what was going on, what wasn't working, and got things up and running a lot better. So, hi. Good to be back with you. Especially considering that I took a nap just a little while ago. Figuring you guys in with folks that are going to be here with us at the moment. From the right-hand coast of the U.S., Unrenowned Tech, good morning.
Good morning.
And from the opposite side, because the internet's a wonderful thing, on the left-hand coast, IO Cloud, good evening.
Evening. You've got our names backwards. You've got Tex under mine and my name under Tex.
It's okay.
I see that.
We'll fix it in post.
No, and that's weird. I do not understand why it did. Okay. Full disclosures to what was going on just a little while ago while I move everything around and straighten it all out. Because you're right, you called that. The problem is, I was streaming a program that I have. There we go, that's all better. To the guys a little while ago because I'd forgotten that I had it. And with the new computer setup, I just wanted to tinker around a little bit. And the screen sharing feature changed things around apparently that I don't know how, because normally everybody gets lined up in a specific order. Okay, so that's okay. Learn something new tonight. Discord follows along with the way that Discord works. You pony folks, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so it's good to be back with you, of course, as usual, and being able to be heard. That helps. So, thanks for being with us. If you'd like to be with us as we're recording, of course, as always, over there on YouTube, you can be part of the live chat over there, which I keep having to remind myself I need to put the live chat over on that side because that's where it is on the screen for everybody, and that's literally where it has to be over here. So, Stephanie, good morning. Good to be back with you. Yeah, I know. I got the show announcements out a little bit late today. Like I was saying, this past week it has been somebody's got to do the conversion for me because in the summer I keep switching back to freedom heat units, and in the cold I go back to like real scales. So 80, 85 freedom heat units with and that's not the important part. The important part is the humidity. When it's 80 Fahrenheit and 50 on the humidity, it's okay. I can deal with that easily enough. But when the humidity goes up into the 70 plus range and it doesn't rain to cool things off, this past week has just been murder on me. So on top of everything else, I've had other things on my mind. So again, there will be no horrible scopes because, sorry, can't write. Got other things on my mind, such as. In any case, so it's good to be back with you guys. How are you two doing at the moment, by the way? Tech, I know full well that we haven't had any hurricanes to worry about, and I say we because, remind you, I grew up on the coast, or at least we don't have anything that's telling us that there are hurricanes as yet, right?
Well, I had a few Yeah, I don't even know what this. I don't know what's being ignored and what's not. And what I do know is that the thunderstorms that I've had days of rain,
Hmm.
with severe thunderstorms, lightning, and all that. And then I've had days of severe thunderstorms, lightning, possibility of tornadoes, no rain. And we have had sweaty family balls recipe of heat and humidity to the point of they make a fan, a battery operated fan that you clip to your belt, and then
that.
you pull your shirt over the top of it and clip it to the fan. And what that does is it draws the air up and into underneath your shirt. Well, I redid the clips and I wore the fan on the inside of my belt and pants so it would blow down because chafing hurts.
There's that.
Yeah. True story.
As an aside, when I got the opportunity to visit NPAC, the National Parallel Architecture Center, in Syracuse, I think is where it is, which is where they held a whole bunch of supercomputers. There was a supercomputer that would regularly burn out, and they would have to have a tech come out there, not our tech, a tech, generic tech, go out there to fix it. And the guy's just like, after 2 or 3 go-rounds of this for several $1,000s, because big-time architecture and whatnot, guy finally figured out the air conditioning system in these places go under the floor, and there's raised floor, and it gets sucked up and cools everything because heat rises. Apparently the exhaust fan was turned down inside this thing, so all the hot air was building up inside of it and not getting exhausted out the top. One flip of polarity later, and suddenly the air is getting exhausted out the top because the fan spun backwards, and no problems anymore.
Sounds like my kind of technician.
Yeah. So may I strongly advise instead pinning a pair of them to the back of your pant legs at the very bottom at your ankles so that the air blows up instead of down, just as a suggestion.
Yeah, the problem with that is, though, when you're outside and you're trying to keep the ticks and everything off of you, you tend to have your pant legs sealed.
Okay, fine. You want to play with duct tape? That's your business. Weekends are your business, man. I'm not gonna judge you. Hi.
Take 60 years of turning no into
I
understand marijuana's legal, but come on.
well,
I'm not smoking nothing. Shit, I got in trouble for pop, P-O-P. I called what I drink pop, and my heart doctor thought I was saying pot. His transcriptionist, who was sitting there taking notes, said no, she said pop, as in soda pop, as in Coca-Cola, so yeah.
and this is why I tend to say carbonated beverage, because I'm a tool that way. By the way, I know that you didn't mention anything about it last time we spoke or anything, but no additional incendiaries going off nearby, I take it?
In about 15 minutes, the House of Mouse will go crazy
That's
for half an hour.
not the one that
And
I'm
they do
talking
that-
about.
Oh, those ones.
Yeah,
We get them randomly at all times. And the roads are still icy around here.
got it.
Oh,
They're-
God, I
my-
wish we had cold weather.
I'm not talking weather.
Oh, yeah, sorry, never mind.
Yeah. For those
Yeah,
of you that are
my-
wondering
my-
what we're talking about, we're talking about WX. It's the weather. It's entirely the
Yes, it is the weather.
it's hydroplaning. in sub-zero weather. That's what we're describing.
Yes, there's 2 reports of icy roads, but they're within 5 miles of me, not within 1 mile. Within 1 mile, I kind of hide. I don't go out because I don't want to slip and slide and end up a statistic. Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's fair enough. And as
Yeah.
a complete aside, might I also suggest for folks, if you are in need of additional, maybe small stuff, let's say I acquired, I was basically forced into accepting a little fan, which has a little rechargeable battery in it, which is a wonderful thing, which stays literally within my left arm's reach on a tabletop to, help cool me during, stuff. It's just too loud for the microphone setting that I've got, so I'm not using that right now. It's still a little bit warm. So, mystery personality that went and sent me this thing. You're still a bastard, but thank you. It's appreciated. I'm nice to those
Look at
people that
me.
are nice to me.
I have no idea who he's talking about. Do you, IO?
No, it wasn't me. I don't have any money. Okay.
Yeah, as well.
I get a small allowance for being the wife of somebody that works because I cannot legally work. Well, I can legally work, but I cannot legally work because my lungs are fracked. I'm basically an OSHA violation walking around right now if I was to start working.
Yep.
Not that OSHA exists anymore, but
I'm not even sure what Sujin's talking about,
yeah.
And
So
speaking
I
of
think I
other
figured
things,
it out.
speaking of other things that were sent to me as a freebie, the computer that I'm working with currently was sent with this video card. There's a small problem with this video card. It has 3 output ports. SVID, that almost nobody uses,
Man, jeez, I remember those days.
and DVI. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. So you could conceivably work 2 monitors. Guess what? There are a lot of monitors that don't have DVI these days, and that sucks. All right, I'm just gonna. By the way, when I was trying to work the home server and get everything up and running, it was barking like crazy. I don't know that this card is working right. I don't know that it's not, but it's one of those things where everything went to shit. Anyway, I learned something on the technical aspect. By the way, some people are not going to care about this. Most people will, but I'm gonna care about it for just a couple of seconds. DVI is a great system, and why it did, I don't know. It doesn't make any kind of sense. I'll tell you why. Because DVI is a combination system. It will send digital video signal, which a lot of monitors use now because of course they do, and analog signals, i.e. like what the original flat panels used to use, and CRT monitors would use, and I don't know, perhaps even some projector systems, which meant it didn't matter what video monitor you had one cable to rule them all. But they got rid of it because reasons.
Because they need to sell more shit.
Yeah, because HDMI is better and you can do more things with it. You know what you could do
Plus-
that was more? Audio.
Plus, technically, what you have there are 2 DVI-I connectors. Because there's also DVI-D.
Yep. And everybody wants
And
the D.
DVI-D only sends out digital output. It cannot switch between analog and digital.
But you could do it. They had the technology. They didn't have to screw around with it.
One thing that pisses me off about our society and civilization is Planned obsolescence.
Amen,
Okay,
sister.
I inherited my husband's second wife's mobility scooter. I was having some problems walking around. He said, let's see if I can get this up and running. He got it up and running, and I started using it. After about 2 years, 2.5 years of using it, during a city walk with at least two of the counselors for the city, I hit something hard and I broke the steering. He contacted the manufacturer. They were more than willing to sell us a brand new one for $5, $6, $7,000. It took him about a month to find me a replacement, which was an electric wheelchair. I absolutely hated it because I felt tippy, especially going up and down curve cuts and shit. But I was out about doing the stuff that I needed to do in order to take care of husband and home, because I like going grocery shopping or shopping for the necessaries. Anyway, he and a buddy of ours, got two stories about that buddy, decided one day to take the scooter apart. They found a broken piece, which was two bearings. The manufacturer did not have the bearings. Again, we'll sell you a new one for $5,000. So he went to a local bike store for less than $6, so about $10 Canadian. He managed to get the bearings, and the two guys put the scooter back together the next time our buddy was over. And I've been having fun going. Vroom, 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 vroom. It's a mobility scooter. It's a mobility device. With how my lungs are right now, I definitely need it. I hate having to use it, but at the same time, not having it, I feel it. If I drive someplace because I don't have the carrier for my car for it, I feel it. I feel it when I'm walking around with or without my cane. I feel it. And I'm so thankful I have it. $6! $6! Oh no, we'll just sell you a new one for $5,000. Like planned obsolescence. Purely planned obsolescence.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, that's why you see so many shops that can repair cell phones at the fraction of a cost of Apple or any of the other places. And why so many companies fought so hard against the right to repair bill.
Can't imagine why they would ever do that. Can't imagine. And you know what? I'm realizing my audio is just clipping over into the red. That's probably not such a great idea. I'll be a little bit careful about that.
The other little story about our buddy is we have 3 cars. And the third car was supposed to have been given to a friend of ours who died from the C word last year. It was supposed to have been her inheritance, but there was some mechanical issues. It's just been sitting there every couple months, rerun the engine to make sure it still runs. Well, our buddy has a grand nibbling nephew, niece, I'm not too sure. I don't really care, who needs a car. The mother, his niece, or nibbling, whatever, is mechanical. She likes fixing cars. The son wants to fix cars. I believe it's a son. And we have a car that needs fixing. The problem is it didn't pass the smog check, so we might have to fix it here first. And so now they're discussing whether or not they even want it. It was basically, you pay for the registration, it's yours.
Cool.
And no, people want us to have these new electric vehicles and stuff that are like less than 10 years old and things like that. Planned obsolescence. Why not make parts that can go on to the older stuff that will bring the older stuff up to compliance now?
You know, funny enough, with the way that home fabrication can happen these days, the plausibility is so much better. But yeah, that's still damned annoying, to put it mildly.
I know that there's metal printers like the plastic PLC print.
Yeah. It's doable. It's damn, damn tough, though. But be that as it may. So, how about we get things rolling while I fight with my contact lens? I do not know what's going on. I don't have an airflow going on me, so I don't know why it's behaving, or misbehaving, I should say, right now.
It's because it's so dry, hot, and humid.
Which, ironically enough, is not too far off. So,
Just take it out, lick it, and put it back in. It'll be fine.
that would be all well and good, except that I need a mirror in order to see. And it's creepy for everybody involved when I actually explain that, I need a mirror to lick something. So, just,
Wait a minute.
what?
How long have you been wearing contacts for?
It's been a while. It's been a long time.
And you still haven't figured out how to put them in and take them out without a mirror?
Yeah.
Just because we're supposed to be able to put them in and take them out without a mirror does not mean that we can. I'm somebody else that has problems taking them out or putting them in without a mirror. I happen to have these teeny tiny little eye holes, like little itty bitty bitty eyes. And it took hours at the optometrist just to learn how to put them in. And they still didn't want me to leave with them. And I went through about 5 or 6 pairs in the first year.
Yeah, I get squeamish dealing with eyeballs because there aren't very many replacements that you're allowed to get. So that's the thing.
Okay.
So I'll get everything rolling, and we'll kind of figure it out a little bit better from there because we're running a little bit long. So with 5 minutes on the clock, your 5-minute freestyle starts now. DRAMALLAMA. I know. It's the wrong spelling, and it's probably really supposed to be 2 words or minimally hyphenated. But hey, go with me on this one. In the show notes, I already have a couple of news articles. One from NPR. Go NPR. We love you guys. And Reuters. Go Reuters. We love you guys too. About the Dalai Lama. First off, I know he is not exactly the greatest of individuals. I get that. But as they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And it is a weird relationship on this one especially. The Dalai Lama, who has disagreements, shall we say, with the governance from China, the authoritarian group that it is, has said previously, that the spirit of the Dalai Lama is not going to get reincarnated after he dies, which of course threw everybody into a tizzy because, I mean, what's going to happen to Tibetan Buddhism if the Dalai Lama is no longer? Well, okay, there will be another Dalai Lama that will be reincarnated, but China doesn't get to choose who it is. China, of course, vehemently disagrees, and they're allowed to have their little temper tantrum. But the Dalai Lama has said, when I come back, you will know me by my deeds as determined by the foundation that I've started so that they can figure out who it is. I mean, okay, that's fine. But it's not at the same time. See, an opportunity to go ahead and stick it to an authoritarian regime who's trying to use religion to support their own ends, which, ironically enough, is where we're going to end up with the real part of the show momentarily. We're not on board with the mixing of politics and religion. We think it's a cancer on society. Maybe not necessarily exactly those words, but effectively those words. But an opportunity for somebody who has been in exile because of said government, for them to go ahead and say, yeah, you know what? The office stops with me. He's basically just turned 90, by the way. So the likelihood of him lasting, another 10 years is questionable at best. So for the government to go ahead and say, yeah, we're going to pick the next Dalai Lama because we want all of your followers to do what we want them to, so we will influence them that way. And him going, no, I'm the last one, and I'm the one that gets to choose that. I choose no longer to be reincarnated. What a spit in the face, right? But no, apparently somebody has spoken in his ear and said, you know what, maybe don't do that one just yet. How about we have another one? But we get to pick who it is, not the government. Apparently he's on board with that. I've got problems with that. I got a lot of problems with that. And it's not just from the governmental part. Part of the problem is that this now puts some poor single-digit-year-old child into the position of being effectively a world leader of sorts. They're not going to know. They're going to answer a couple of questions that adults are going to put to them, and hopefully they will know the answers. And I say hopefully because it's going to be the parents that are going to be the ones to try to coach them into giving the right answers. But that then means that these poor kids, who really don't know what it is that they're going to have a lifetime of, have no agency of their own. I got a problem with that. Don't get me wrong. An opportunity to screw big bad China is, sure, but at the cost of these kids' lives. And I'm not okay with that. Really not okay with that. So, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Geez, maybe that's not exactly the price we should all be willing to take, because we're not the ones that have to pay it. It's whoever this kid's going to be. As an aside, whoever that kid's about to be, sorry, man. Really am. I hope you get the opportunity to grow up. Maybe watch Sesame Street or something. This is episode 542 on the docket, Your Honor. Snowball Effect. Now, there are some people who know me and IO from the Friday night show, and that the word snowball is a verboten term. It's I would otherwise show you the. Oh, actually, I'll get the. Oh, yeah. See, I've got a couple of pages right up here next to me. One of which has got a whole bunch of username and passwords. I know, but the list of terms, right there, right at the top. Snowball as number one term. We're not allowed to say on Friday night. This is, by the way, the list. For anybody that's wondering, yes, this actually does exist. This is a thing. So, if you want to know a little bit more about that, you can ask us on a Friday night. Doing the show and everything.
Or be smart and not ask us.
That's probably a really good idea.
Because the last time we went through that.
Yes, well. Something that was said over on Cognitive Dissonance not too very long ago that stuck with me. Again, the fact that they, kind of like they started, however long it's been, primarily talking about religious stuff, which, that was really the reason why the show started. To a degree. I mean, we really... The show effectively started because there were things that we wanted to talk about on the Friday night show. And, the Friday night show was supposed to be just for fun. And we got into some serious topics, and somebody went ahead and said, hey, Shu, not fun. Not a fun show. Oh, well, okay. Well, we'll just start at a whole other gig, and we'll do all the stuff there. That turned into this. And it's fair. It's fair. And we started, primarily talking about religious stuff. Hence the term, holy crap. That's really where it comes from. It wasn't because of the expression. That was just a happy happenstance, because I'm really good at naming stuff. Well, what they said over on Cogdis is that, and I'm paraphrasing here, that religion and politics in the United States have effectively swallowed each other. You cannot talk about one without talking about the other. They are currently intertwined in a way that is sickly and probably self-destructive in a way that we've never had in this country before. So we're going to kind of go into that a little bit. What it was like, what it is, what we can expect, or at the very least, what we're worried we have to expect. And I'm not entirely sure what the end goal is going to be this time. I don't even know that there really is one, other than just lamenting the fact of where we are and hoping for better times ahead. And yeah, I know. I'm toying with my eye again because I don't know what in the hell I can do, because there's not much else I can do. So we'll kind of work it from there. And over in the chat, new name. And Stephanie saying no sound. Do we have an issue? I show sound going out
I'm hearing sound.
on the stream.
Yep. I listen to the stream as you're broadcasting on a live stream at the same time. So
I can hear you
tell.
fine. Yeah,
So I can tell without. Yeah.
I have YouTube open. I hear as well. Stephanie, you may want to try turning it off and on again.
Yeah, because I do have the microphones on. I do have the stream information from YouTube showing correctly. And that is very weird. I show everything okay somehow. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. Also in the chat, violent video game enjoyer. Funny that's the name that you got over there. I don't care if it's throwaway account name or not. I appreciate you over there for that one. Saying I wouldn't dare to talk politics in church. It's funny how that operates. Anyway,
Yeah, especially when people from the pulpit are spouting religious stuff, and then they spout politics, and then they go right back to religion, and then back to politics.
which
Honestly, if you're gonna spout politics from a pulpit, tax the churches.
yeah, and the thing is, in the United States, that is supposed to be illegal, and I say supposed to be because it is. It's unenforced. Very specifically unenforced. And I do not know why. And I don't know what's going on. This is weird. This is very weird. Okay, I do not know what's going on. All right, Stephanie, wait 1 second. I'm going to turn off my microphone and then turn it back on again. So it is going to go off. The input is back on. It should be going just fine here. I do not know what's going on otherwise. So we will... And like I said, YouTube says everything is good going into it. I do not understand what might be going on otherwise.
I can hear you fine, man, through YouTube and everything.
Me too.
It would be really, really bad if suddenly we find out that YouTube is intentionally throttling terms that are being said. So that might be, really hope that that's not it.
Yo, Stephanie, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Stephanie? I know there's a delay on what I see,
Yeah, we're gonna have to
so
wait.
I'll wait for her response.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. The reason why it's not been enforced here in the United States, and I forgot what the name of the law is that's all well and good, Io. That's good. The problem started back in the early 80s, and memory serves, very specifically with Ronald Reagan. Imagine that. Where when this rule got put into place, and I'm going to call it a rule instead of a law, because if you don't enforce a law, it's just a guideline, was basically told the IRS was supposed to come down on your other videos. Wait. There is no audio at all. How curious. All right, well, we'll see how that plays out for Stephanie.
So, I've had it happen where I'll have multiple tabs open, different YouTube channels. I might have music from one running in the background while I'm watching an instructional, some low-level music, and suddenly I'm not hearing anything from one of the two tabs. Sometimes it's because I've accidentally clicked the little speaker at the top of the tab. Like Firefox, you can hit Control M and it will mute just that tab, but all other tabs will work.
And Chrome's got the one at the top for exactly that purpose, a speaker. Yeah, I keep forgetting about that one.
Okay, I just heard from somebody who is watching but is not part of the chat that they hear you.
And they're back. Hi, Steph. Glad that worked. Gotta love technology sometimes. Any case,
and we've got a Landon. Yeah, Ronald Reagan, the evangelical right, Jerry Falwell, and the moral majority.
No. It's Jerry Fartwell.
Is
anybody else remember that movie?
Is Jerry dead currently?
Falwell?
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, good. Fuck him.
Tammy Faye Baker?
Pretty sure she's dead.
Yeah, he died. Jerry Falwell died in 2007.
Yeah, fuck him. And Ronald Reagan? Well, I mean, the less said about Ronald Reagan. No, actually, we could. I believe there's a warning that should be put out there for everybody that people like Ronald Reagan eventually have Alzheimer's and die in poor shape. So don't be a Ronald Reagan. Good tip. Glad we had this TED Talk. In any case,
my favorite quote about Ronald Reagan is from Arnold Guthrie. He was a fine president. The more he slept, the safer we were.
So the rule was basically told, the rule holders were basically told, unless you get agreement from way on high in the IRS, you are not allowed to prosecute churches, religious organizations that break the rule of mixing politics and religion. You're not supposed to tell people from inside your church how they should vote. Just not. And there has become a day, literally a day, where some of these churches will literally record themselves and then send the DVD to the IRS and taunt them and say, go ahead, what are you going to do about it? We're talking about politics in my church. Here's the evidence. What are you going to do about it? And the IRS cuckolds that they are, they do nothing because they're disallowed from doing anything. I mean, how else can you describe it? They've got a rule. They're told, unless daddy says from on high that you're allowed to enforce the rule, you're not allowed to. I mean, really, what else is there to say about that one? So they're allowed to. They're tacitly allowed to because they're not being swatted down the way that they're supposed to be. And it's just the way that things are because that's the way they are, which is BS. Which doesn't help because now you go from the other side. Now the political side goes ahead and says, well, now we can go ahead and we can do all the religious talk and stuff. Because who's going to stop us? That pesky First Amendment? Nah, we can ignore any law because, well, the executive branch and the president and the executive branch are allowed to ignore any rule because if the president does it, if the executive branch does it, it's legal.
I mean, honestly, I don't even see why they wasted time doing this because there have been countless people who have reported churches to the IRS for this problem.
Yep.
There were churches who sent videos to the IRS or letters to the IRS saying, go ahead and do it. We dare you. There was a gentleman I went to high school with. He works for the IRS. He said, yes, they did get people who would report them and they were just, the letters were thrown out.
Yep.
They were ignored because nobody wanted to piss off the churches. It was like, wait a minute, you collect money. If you piss off a church, what are they going to do? Not pay you what they weren't going to pay you to begin with?
And better yet, if you do prosecute them, you take away their tax-exempt status, which now means that they have to do extra paperwork and send, all right, let me get my dictionary. Taxes. Which, by the way, that whole, if the president does it, it's legal. Thanks, Nixon. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was his fault for exactly that. If the president does it, it's automatically legal. Way to go, guy. So now...
I could say something right now, but I'm not going to because it'll...
You can't just do that one. What is it going to do?
It's not a power of 10 yet.
It doesn't matter. What is it going to do? Or alternatively, pull up your granny panties and just go ahead and tell us.
Is it going to be helpful? I think she's eating herself and getting it out of her system.
She's getting all upset because I said, did she wear granny panties? You know, once upon a time ago, I wanted to be a leather crafter. I wanted to be a leather worker. I wanted to have my own business doing leather stuff so that the slogan for the company would be, the more you pay, the quieter I stay. Yes, leather granny panties were something that I was considering at one point. They were going to need stirrups, but I mean, not stirrups. Suspenders. Well, I mean, yes.
Well, if you clip it to the leather harness, you're going to be fine.
If the president does it, it's legal. I just went down that rabbit hole, and I'm not going to say anything else about it.
Yeah, because it's a stupid concept.
It's also what the current
administration according to a video I saw
is.
on South Park, Trump went naked down a beach. I mean, I guess it's legal for me to do it too.
Beach? I thought that was at
or a desert. Sorry,
yeah.
through a desert. So I guess it's legal for me to do that too then.
Well, I mean, there's Burning Man.
And his little mushroom cap has eyes. So therefore it's a character. It's a South Park character.
You know, here's the funny thing about that episode. I honestly hope, I really do hope, that episode single-handedly destroys the potential merger with the CBS and the other group and
Skydance,
because there is no good that will come from having Skydance in charge of CBS. None whatsoever.
Colbert are.
Yeah, Stephen Colbert. He's not, but the thing is they're not just nixing him. They're getting rid of a lot of things, and
Oh, shoo.
Why?
you see nothing.
Why would you? Why would you tell me that? Why? Why would you? Why?
Well, I
You,
mean, his hairpiece is a character on a puppet show.
you know what? The ace bandage as a blindfold, it does nothing. I need brain bleach. I don't. Why would you do this to me?
You have to watch the episode.
No.
It is hilarious.
No,
Yes.
as a matter of fact, no.
I
don't.
haven't watched South Park in 10 years other than little itty bitty bits that I've seen as
Yeah.
I've been traipsing through YouTube and other places. And all of a sudden, South Park. And I saw a couple of the blips before the show. I actually watched the show this morning and I was laughing.
No, I don't. I've seen just a little bit of the most that I've ever seen of South Park was the people who were playing the South Park video game. That's I have no desire. I
I
don't.
don't know why I stopped watching it. Probably because up in Canada, the Canadian Comedy Network, I forget what it's called, Comedy Central,
Yeah.
maybe?
No. Comedy Central was
Whatever
yeah.
it's called.
Anyway.
South Park would be on at random times, and sometimes it would be a new episode, and other times it wouldn't be. So I think that's why I stopped watching it. But what I saw was basically Matt and Trey going, "We don't give a flying. Go ahead, cancel us. We'll be billionaires, or at least multimillionaires. Go ahead. We just signed a contract for 5 more years of South Park."
On the bright side, they could always have a spin-off of the two Canadian stick figures.
Mm-hmm. No, I have not seen the meme that has the devil complaining that he's being associated with Taco. Nope, I have not seen it. I'll probably look it up, or if I know anything, Tech is going to find it for me. Why was she wearing a blindfold, Doc?
Hi, Doc.
Because we told him about. Plug your ears, Shu. Plug your ears. Thank you. We told him about Trump's Weenie being a character on South Park.
Okay, so you need to
Wait,
okay,
Google eyes.
you need to talk faster next time because I thought I gave you enough. Okay, that's fine.
You know
that's
I've
fine.
got breathing problems.
I'm gonna turn off my microphone to the stream for a couple of seconds just so that I can get this out of the way. So, 3, 2, 1. All right, so fine, we're back again. So, I know full well that over on YouTube, some people are not going to know what's just going to happen. And for those of
Sorry.
you, you're welcome.
Excuse me. I have to clear my throat for a second here.
Now I have to find a picture that I have in Second Life of something that I did just to make you go, "What the fuck?"
Sorry, that's pretty much every interaction that we ever have.
Yeah, I was just he beat me to the punch on that one. Damn, man, great minds stink alike.
Pretty
Yes,
much.
you guys definitely stink.
This coming from the Stinky Winky of a soul. You're welcome.
Mr. Stinky
You're-
Winky.
It took you
Another
over a
name for the
year
brown
to spot that on my avatar.
You know,
Well,
we need to do a fun show. This right here is proof that we have been the amount of politics that we've rolled into, right? The snowball effect that the topic of the show. This is just a demonstration, a perfect example of how sick we are and tired we are of all this bullshit that's been rolling into it, where not even the fundamental right at the church level is enough of a topic to outweigh the shit that's being done at the political level.
Yeah.
I honestly think we need to have another episode where we're just having fun. Like we're the word games or some like Tetris. The Tetris knockoff called Tetri. I think it's TETR.io.
Oh,
There are a bunch of those things.
don't get me started on itch. Don't get me started on itch right now.
Yeah,
Because that's a whole other thing.
Right.
Actually, you know what? Let me hit that one real quick because that is not exactly, but it is tangentially related. The political, what's the word that I'm looking for here right now? The Victorian prudery that is the evangelical right, coming out of all places, Australia, if memory serves, is forcing bank groups, specifically MasterCard and Visa and PayPal. They are saying, we don't want you to go ahead and deal with all of these programs, these games that are inappropriate for people because they promote things like incest and rape and sexual misconduct. And by the way, for those of you that are paying attention to all of that, do those kinds of programs exist? Yes. Yes, they do. If you look in that list of things that they want banned and no longer being sold and processed by these groups, would you notice that there is not a mention of specifically things like warfare games, where the entire purpose is for killing enemies? Warfare games.
Yep.
Where brutality is almost literally the name of the game. I believe there is a term in Italian that I can actually get away with using this time, and I don't have to worry about saying it in public. Stonad! So if you want to go ahead and you want to say that these people are repressed and prudish, and you can use whatever other terminology you want. But this is what happens when these self-righteous, indignant, religious assholes go ahead and say, well, we think that you should be doing that, so let me go out there and spend a couple of extra grand on a bigger bullhorn. Because we're going to find a way of making sure that it's all about the safety of the innocent, aren't we?
It's why so many states have liquor laws that regard that say you can't sell alcohol on Sundays.
Meanwhile, we've gotten, for the most part, gotten away from blue counties, meaning dry counties, actually, is the term I'm looking for, where literally there are entire counties.
There are still dry counties.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's, I had to do a stint out in Kentucky, which I will never go back there ever again. And they dropped me into a dry county, and it was just like I had to drive an hour to find alcohol because I just wanted a bottle of wine. Last me a whole week because I don't drink much. And
oh my dude, I can kill 2 bottles in one okay, I'm not going to do that again, but I mean, I used to be able to.
Yeah, man,
that was not a good night
I
either.
could drink heavily in my youth, but even then, when I had work the next day, I just wanted a small glass of wine, my cigarette, and my book back then. And that would be my evening to relax, to get my mind and myself into a relaxed state for the next day. And because I was in a dry county, I couldn't find shit. And I had to drive over an hour to find a place that sold alcohol. And even when I did, it wasn't even anything that I was looking for or I could have. So I had to drive for another half an hour before I could even find a store that sold wine. And by that point, I was near a college town.
Well,
which is why I was able to find alcohol. At that point, they wanted to sell me like those little mini bottles of hard liquor and all the other stuff that the college kids like. And I just want a bottle. And they're like, "What are you looking for? You want some schnapps?" I'm like, "Oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with you?" No.
No. Maybe they had some extra. They just wanted to get rid of it. I mean, you could always use it as cleaning
I
solution.
found a place that sold Manischewitz, and I was like, "Okay, fine, grape juice it is."
We're going to take a sidebar for a moment. And I have to explain to people why that word is funny for me. Long time ago, almost 100 years ago, it feels like, back when Jack Benny was still on the air. I know, leave me alone a second, hold on. His band leader, who most people would know as the voice of Baloo, the voice of, well, various characters from various things. Yeah. So, Phil Harris left the show, and he was replaced with, well, I'm trying to remember what name he was using at that point, but it was Bing Crosby. All right, it was Bing Crosby. But he wasn't allowed to be on the show under his name, so, well, his stage name. So he was using a different name, and Bing was his brother. One of the running gags that ended up in one of the Christmas episodes is the fact that Bing at one point had stuttered while pronouncing Manischewitz. And it was a thing that became a thing that showed up later when they're doing one of the Christmas shopping episodes, and there's a whole singing thing, and all of the stars have like a line or two that they sing in this song. And I think it was part of the advertisement for the sponsor at the time, which I think it was Lucky Strike cigarettes at that point. Any case, he's singing along, and he sings Manischewitz, but it fit, and several of the people who were not supposed to be singing at that point, you can hear them just start laughing hard into their microphones. And they're not supposed to be, of course. But, so, whenever I hear the word Manischewitz now, it instantly gets translated in real time as Manischewitz in my head. So, you know what? Put a thing for the show notes, and I will find that episode so that folks can take a listen to that later. I gotta track that down. Anyway, it's gonna be sure. So, a future for just doing fun. Yeah, we can see about doing that. Back to the problem at hand. There was oh God, we've talked about this one multiple times. Project Snow White, where the Church of Scientology got themselves their people into various governmental agencies so that they could spy and find the information that was being kept on the Church of Scientology, and subsequently destroy said documents from the inside. That was a whole big thing. So again, the idea of organized religious organizations invading the government and taking it over for their own gains. This is a thing that's happened before. Way to go. Yeah, you can find that over on Wikipedia. Easy enough. I'm sure somebody's going to put a link in there so that we can do that for you. Any case. So, where are we now? As a talk show of sorts, we're stuck with having politics and religion being intertwined. I mean, you pick a topic, there's a religious component that somebody has screwed around with to make it the way that it is. It's to the point where you can't even offer kids school lunches and school breakfasts during the summer to make sure that they stay, hydrated and fed and nourished without there being a whole thing.
It boggles my mind when I hear religious people say they want the children to be protected and taken, and then they go and vote against, support for these kids. And then I have to remember a lot of these religious people, so-called religious people, are religious only in name only, in appearance only. They don't walk their own line. They'll use it to beat up other people, like a billy club, but they won't use it to heal people. They won't use it to feed people. They won't use it to clothe and house people, or to even love people. Organized religious-based love, to me, is just one of the most toxic things out there. If I do something nice for somebody, I don't take videos of it. I don't publish it on the internet, brag about it. And when they thank me, persons involved thank me, a lot of times I'll hear them, "Bless you, man. God bless you, man." And I really want to say, no, thank you. I really, really want to say, no. I don't need anybody's gun. I'm good the way I bite the bullet. I bite my tongue. I just say, thank you, and I move on, because I understand that's what they're taught to say. That's what's instilled upon them. That's the way they see that they're supposed to respond. And if I do or say anything that is seen as a negative to that response of theirs, it could actually do more harm than good to them. Not in terms of their religious beliefs, but just terms of them being gracious for they've received or what was done for them. And when people show gratitude and they show that kind-heartedness, that thanks for something, I want to encourage that, because that's one of the good sides of human nature. Don't want to hurt it. And so I walk away feeling hurt that this is how they feel that they have to behave to show their gratitude, knowing that I can't really do anything about it without hurting them in turn. And I want to do as little harm and as much good. And it's just one of those things, man. It just bothers the hell out of me.
Yeah, I had somebody tried to hand me a Jesus business card with some stuff on it, and as soon as I was able to see what it was they were trying to hand me, I took my hand back and said, "No, sir." And I had to.
That's different. That's different.
Hold on a second. I had to say it 3 times. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Because they were trying to offer it to me, and each time because I was a professional. Here's where I'm hitting you on this one. If I, on the clock, had said, as an example, I am a member of the Church of Satan, specifically the Satanic Temple, I don't need this, thank you. Basically meeting them, eye to eye, or concept to concept, I would have been the bad guy. If I had said, I don't need that, I'm an atheist, again, meeting them eye to eye, I would be the bad guy. Not necessarily because I'm on the clock and as such a representative of the company, but because Well, why wouldn't you take such a nice thing? By the way, Landon had also said they have received had originally wrote award, corrected themselves as reward, and truth be told, it's both. So I don't think that you necessarily misspelled. But
If
we,
you take it,
yeah,
if
we
you
would be
take
the
it
bad
from
guys.
them, if you take it from them and don't say anything, you can dispose of it later and know that somebody who was not as bright and open and like you wasn't being indoctrinated.
I counter that with that then means that the person feels that they are tacitly allowed to continue to do this to someone who is on the job and shouldn't have any kind of religious anything going on. It gets to be all kinds of tangled up, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the amount of chick tracks and stuff I've disposed of over the years.
Oh,
Oh,
chick
thank-
tracks. If I find those, I just tear them up and throw them in the garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
We get
One
them.
of the phrases. What's interesting though is one of the phrases that I've received that doesn't seem to trigger me as much though is when somebody tells me to have a blessed day, because I know what they mean. But at the same time, a blessed day can also mean just a day where you feel truly thankful for everything you have, everything that you've done, interactions with the people around you. And you don't have to be thankful to a deity. You don't have to be thankful to the planet. You can just be thankful for that day. And so, in my mind's eye, when I hear the blessed day, to me, sure, they may be invoking their concept of their religious blessing and so on and so on. But for me, it holds a much different meaning.
You want to know
When
what?
they say God bless you, they're actually invoking a deity at that.
Yeah. You want to know what the closest thing to a chick track is that I have? This. The owner's manual for my iFixit kit. This is the closest thing I've got.
Oh, you've got the Pro Kit. Yeah, those are great.
Oh, God, yeah. I splurged for myself that one time.
Yeah, the iFixit has done so much for the repair.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't get, destroyed by all the companies out there.
Yeah. I think that was also the same year that I splurged for myself for my speakerphone attachment for my actual phone. I like this thing. Yeah, it's turned off. That's why it's not making any noise. Yes, I'm uber gerd. I'm uber nerd. If anybody's got a problem with that, tough. I'm a mensch. Ask Tech, he'll tell you. I'm a mensch. Anyway, so we've seen what happens when religion, well, is allowed to just do its thing. You get, amongst other things, and this is not all religions, it's just most religions. We can start off with things like misogyny. Some of them have it built right in. And before you go ahead and start getting on me because he's going to hit all the big ones, all the Abrahamic ones right off the bat. I mean, yeah, but I mean, let's start off the easy way. What are the stories about Zeus? What kind of a husband was Zeus?
He was a crap husband who got bored a lot with Hera. And so, of course, we blame Hera for letting Zeus get bored when it's not her problem. Him being bored? That's his own problem. So what does he do? He causes shit. And all sorts of mythologies happen. All sorts of demigods, all sorts of chaos, all sorts of this and that.
And on top of it all, because of his specific activities, he has, if you will use the expression of documented, case, at least one, of bestiality. Now, some could argue that it was interspecies as opposed to bestiality because the goose was a goose, swan, whatever, the
Goose.
big white bird that was having at it with the young lady was Zeus, and therefore fully cognizant of what he was doing, which technically at that point does no longer qualify as bestiality. Which I know some people are going to get on my case because interspecies is still no, because I mean, if that's the case, then what was Captain Kirk doing back in the 60s? Just saying.
Okay, you got a spit take from me. Okay, Shu finally got a spit take from me. Mark it on your books.
You remember what I said earlier when I turned the microphone off? There's an expression. I'm going to type it in the host chat because I don't want to turn off my microphone at this point. So there we go. And she's probably going to go ahead and say, you misspelled it. No, I didn't this time.
No. You're correct.
See?
You're correct.
I'm a bastard. Okay, yes, retroactive bastard. I know. Leave me alone. There's a thing. We can talk about that later.
Okay. Must not hyperventilate and pass out. Must not.
It's Saturday night, hon. You can do whatever it is that you want. You've got male companionship over there.
Yeah, but
I know. There's projection on my part. So where I was originally going to be going is that, the whole thing with misogyny in religion. I mean, how often are there female leaders of religious organizations? And I mean, like, the tippy top. In modern day, not very many, like almost at all. I don't know what the Jains have got for any kind of a structure. I know full well that Church of Scientology, no. The Satanic Temple, unfortunately, to the best of my knowledge, no. But, I mean, for them, I could see it happening. At least. The Abrahamic religions? Hell no. Almost literally. So, which...
not even Baha'i, which is supposedly the most up-to-date Abrahamic religion. Baha'i is to Islam what early Christianity was to Judaism. The prophet of the new religion was a member of the old religion. But not even them. The Universal House of Justice, at least back when I was growing up, you could not be a member if you were a woman, because you were expected to teach the children at home. That was your job as a woman.
Yep. Doc is also putting a thing over here. Spelling be damned. Don't worry about it. It's oh dark stupid in the morning over there. I get it. I know it's not exactly dark at the moment because, summer, but be that as it may. Scientologists are nothing more than another cult.
Yeah.
A well-funded and highly litigious cult, but a cult nonetheless. Yeah.
Shall I describe what my headcanon is for Scientology?
Ooh, think you're going to go ahead and get us in trouble here.
Well, see, back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, 4 greats of science fiction were sitting at a bar. Heinlein, Herbert, Harrison, and Hubbard. And they had a bet who could write the best religious story. Herbert, Dune. Heinlein, Stranger in a Strange Land. Dune is about how you should not follow a messiah blindly, and how religious fanaticism makes people crazy. Stranger in a Strange Land was more about discovering just how religions are warped and crazy they are. Harrison wrote about how, yes, we need something, because if not, society devolves into chaos. We need sets of rules, which is what Make Room was, and that became Soylent Green. That's the book that became Soylent Green. And Hubbard and his family are just rolling in the dough because of Dianetics.
Yep.
And Battlefield Earth.
Uh,
Not the movie. The movie was... All right, so the novel Battlefield Earth, if you take it strictly as a piece of science fiction, the novel, not the book, as straight science fiction, is fantastic. Okay? It builds everything up, it gets you through everything, and it continues on, and it's an amazing thing. But there is a Scientology undertone to it.
Mm-hmm.
And first off, as far as the movie goes, imagine a novel that's close to 1.5 to 2 inches thick. Okay? The movie
that sounds to be a very
cover
good-sized novel.
About the movie only covered about 2 centimeters of that book. Okay.
It's actually a pretty average-sized book, I'd say. I mean,
about half the book.
No, no, the movie didn't even cover half the book. Less than that. So much less.
1.5 inches seems, pretty respectable for a novel.
That's not what we're talking about.
I mean, you brought it up. I don't know.
No, actually, no. I'm sorry. Now that I think about it, the novel was about 2 inches to 2.5 inches thick.
Oh yeah, that's a good size. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that that movie didn't even cover a half inch of that book. It was just so short because there's so much content in there. But the moment you put the Scientology lens over that book, and you put Dianetics next to it, and you take what you've learned from Dianetics and then you read that book, now you can see all the Scientology in it. You can see how it grasps those various concepts of alien invaders and war and everything else, and it's brutal. I was lucky when I read Battlefield Earth. First off, I thought it was just a science fiction novel, which is how it was in the science fiction section, and I had never heard of Dianetics. I didn't anything about Scientology, never even heard of it. I read it from the lens of a science fiction story, and I was lucky in that respect. I got it.
I'm calling bullshit on
what?
One very specific thing. We grew up at the same time in roughly the same area. We had the same TV stations. You and I.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there was the Dianetics commercial, but I never really paid attention to the commercials back then.
That's okay. Somebody remind me that I need to put the Dianetics commercial on YouTube.
No.
But it was so funny because it was such a nothing burger. I
didn't really pay attention to commercials back then because back then we didn't have on-demand TV.
Yeah, but it was
the commercials for the bathroom break.
That's fine. The commercial was the book coming forward on the screen with a exploding volcano behind it, and here it comes in front of you. Dianetics by and read about the whole. It was a nothing burger of explanation of anything, and it's like, why do I want to read about volcanoes? I don't care.
I read all of my dad's science fiction. That's how I got started with Asimov. And we didn't have a copy of Dianetics in the house, even though he had a copy of Battlefield. Even though we had a copy of Battlefield.
Good.
Which was in my science fiction section of my local bookstore.
I was
It's
given a
not.
copy of Dianetics. I wanted to use it for toilet paper.
That's the bug.
Um,
The pages were really soft in the Bible.
Lan-
Not that I've ever used the Bible as toilet. I just remember the pages were really soft.
yeah, there's a reason why, and it basically comes down to paper cuts. Landon said, "I don't know much about Scientology, but he was good in The Green Mile and Forrest Gump."
Jeez, son of a.
I mean,
Okay. Yeah, bravo. Bravo, golf clap.
Well done. Just no, not a golf clap. Just good, slow, just respectful clap. Just there you go.
I'm lost, but that's okay.
That's don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's good.
It's okay. We can fill you in later. I
No thanks.
should not have said that. I should not have said that. This is a running internal gag that's going on with us all right now. So for those of you that don't
Especially
know
when
why,
you talk about 2 inches. You know.
I
And yes, my husband is listening.
2 inches is I mean that's a respectable battery right there. It's fine. It's fine.
That reminds me, I need to buy more triple.
Back
For
to
my telephone, my house phones, they have the rechargeable AAAs, and instead of that battery brick that most cordless home phones have, and I just realized, I was like, my phone keeps cutting out. Oh shit! I've got to replace the batteries in the phone. They're like 3 years old.
so back on actual topic again, because we have a bad habit of doing that around here, don't we? Going all over the place.
I don't have any bad habits. Do you have any bad habits, Io?
Got lots. Has to do with chocolate.
Oh, share some. I need some apparently.
I have bad habits. That's why I have glasses that I have to wear. And
I
contacts.
see. I only
and-
have good habits because I keep them clean. I maintain the thread count. I don't dress up as a nun in my spare time.
Yeah, one of the other bad habits I have is writing down everything about my home server on a index card so that I can, keep it handy for when
Wow,
I
I
need to.
haven't seen those in forever. I didn't know they still made them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do.
yeah. And there's a
It's-
very specific reason why I've got my finger where it is. Ask
That's
me
the
why.
password.
And the user account for the server, right?
Hmm.
Oh, I was thinking you were covering up the machine name.
Well, that too.
Hex.
Well, it is now hexadecimal Mark II.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
I know that. Would you like to know? Would you you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll tell you anyway. The account name is taken from a TV show. The
Try
password?
not to give them more ammo.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And the password? Well, the password was partially inspired from the TV series The West Wing. So
Cool. Cool.
go ahead.
Cool. Cool.
Fucking
No,
dare ya.
I
Fucking
didn't
dare
really
ya.
watch the West Wing. I saw the part where Penn and Teller were on and burning the flag,
Maybe
where they actually didn't, or was it the flag or was it the Constitution?
it was
One of the two.
flag.
Whatever. It was a wonderful effect, and it was perfect. Yeah, basically that and a couple of the other little shorts on YouTube. I have not actually sat down and watched the West Wing. I've tried. I find it boring. Even though there's a bunch of actors there that I liked.
Yeah. As an aside, by the way, Doc Waxon, who, by the way, hi. Yeah, like I said,
Hi,
yeah,
Doc.
it's super early for you. We get that. When you need to finally get yourself to sleep, rest well. Stay cool. I suppose it's probably the best way. Glad you're able to be with us for a little while.
Why is the What's Up Doc song going through my brain?
Because for some of us, that's how we learned to appreciate classical music.
True. True.
Yeah. So religious organizations, they keep pushing their boundaries because they just push here, they push there, they take an inch, they take another inch. And before you know it, those little wedge issues, like we've been telling you for the last 50 years, are just their way of, you know, bending things to their will. Because if you just let them have this little thing and just this little thing, and then this little, oh, well, how did we get turned all the way around? Suddenly. Yeah, it only took 50 years, my lifetime, a little bit, give or take, for it to finally come around this way. Whose fault is that? I'm going to tell you who it isn't. It isn't the people who said, guys, you need to go ahead and you need to fix this, because if you don't, this is what's going to happen. Oh, you're just a worrywart. You got nothing to worry about. It's never going to come to that. Yeah. Yeah, it does. And it has. So I got a very, very, very good question at this point. I'm sorry. I'm just reading part of what's going on. They're discussing things like Law and Order, The West Wing, which is good. There's some really amazing shows. There's some that have scared the hell out of me and continue to. I'm not going to discuss that because that's exceedingly personal. But just know that there is a popular TV show that I watched that has damaged me. I know I'm not supposed to just drop that, but be that as it may. So here's the good question to take us through the last part of the show. When we come through all of the bullshit that we're coming through now, it's not if, it's when. How much hand slapping should be instituted as a, you will do this if this happens? There are a lot of things in the law where it's written in the terms of, in such and such a situation, such and such personality may or shall do whatever the prescribed thing is supposed to be. And almost nothing, and I say this as a layperson who has not read all law and does not have a good enough memory for law, very few times is it ever written, such and such personality in such and such a situation will do whatever it is. And the few times where it is, the groups have just refused to do. So like I was saying before, the IRS find out that a religious group is actually doing politics internally for their people. They are supposed to be prosecuted for that. And the IRS people have just been cuckolded in not doing it. They've been told you will not. The Supreme Court nomination with President Obama, it was supposed to have been just a bring in your nominee and we will interview them and then we will give you a vote. No, we won't do that. We're going to wait because timing. And then later it became, oh, well, we're in the same situation, but we're just going to ignore that rule that we just made up because that rule doesn't exist. So how much sanction should be built in to get people to do what they're supposed to do, do you think? Because me personally, I think it should become a real simple matter of you follow the law. And if you don't follow the law, which includes you doing what you're supposed to do because it's your job, you get to lose your job. You know, outside of the whole realm of, what's the word that I'm looking for? Election cycles. So I'm wondering what you two think about that.
That entire thing about Obama's appointments not getting through really got to me. And I was up in Canada at the time and I was not happy.
Nope.
Because I could see the racism, the playing the rules where you follow what we tell you to, even if it's not what we do.
By the way, Doc, nighty, take care.
Night. And then when Taco came along and he had to nominate and his went through, oh.
In lightning speed, shall we also add?
I don't think they were qualified.
I do believe that the vast majority of people who were qualified to judge that qualification also agree with you.
But no, they got through because that's what their Messiah wanted. Because that's what he is. That's what he is to that base. He is their Messiah. He is their leader. He is everything but a crowned. I will not say the word because America doesn't have those.
Minimally not supposed to.
Yeah, but the way that he's acting. At the same time, there's now news reports about his health going downhill.
Must be all the McDonald's.
I hope.
Let's face it, his health has been going down for a while now.
True.
And it's not just during Obama's tenure as president. It's been going on since at least Clinton, if not longer, where the Republicans, they do what they want and they screw around. And if the Democrats try to do the same thing, they get blocked. But the Republicans keep on shoving stuff through.
I think we can safely say in the modern day, and I'm saying that from the standpoint of somebody who was still a kid, I can remember it happening as early as with President Carter. So the end of the 70s. Yeah, it was the end of the 70s. And my big thing that I've talked about it before. There was this hopeful push that we would get the metric system finally as like the default system here in the US instead of the imperial. Got blocked. It got blocked because the Republicans underfunded, I guess, the best way of describing it, because they didn't want to change anything. And then they had this big campaign, this smear campaign, that he was a peanut farmer. What does he know anything about anything? So let's go ahead and put up somebody that knows a little bit more about politics. You know, a governor who previously was an actor. Okay, cool, great. What's one of the biggest things that he did that he's known for? Well, not dying in office. I mean, okay, that's good, I guess.
Creating a record that was given to the wives of physicians to play at parties to convince physicians that universal health care was a bad thing. That's what he did. It's his voice. It's on YouTube somewhere. Hey, Tech, go find it.
He fired en masse all of the air traffic controllers across the U.S. I want to put this in perspective for a second. The air traffic controllers across the United States were fired after they were all nationalized because they wanted to form a union for better working conditions because they were burning out, and the possibility of air problems, collisions, shall we say, were skyrocketing because of it, and these people were damn near killing themselves trying to do these jobs. And they wanted better conditions and better environment, better pay. He nationalized them all and then fired them and then rehired so that there wouldn't have to be a union. Did he do good things? Sure. He didn't start a world war. But then again, we can also thank some almost unnamed radar operator in Russia, well, the Soviet Union at the time, for not allowing that to happen either. So, win-win, I guess. But then from the standpoint of religion, what did they do? Nancy brought in a psychic and a horoscope person to help her guide her husband, the president at the time, who was not exactly doing really great mentally. We found out years later. Oh, you found it, did you? Nice job.
I forgot the tech was gone.
No, I'm still here.
So I don't know, man. We don't currently... No, we don't. Tech, best of my knowledge, I don't believe that there is anywhere in the U.S. where a quote-unquote no confidence vote is something that exists to bring an elected official out of that position, correct? I mean,
That's
obviously,
a Canadian thing. That's a UK thing, a Commonwealth thing.
I don't remember having heard of something like that.
I think the closest thing you have is impeachment.
So, like, senators can have a vote of no confidence. Well, it's called a motion of no confidence, but it is commonly referred to as a vote of no confidence or a no confident motion. And I don't know if it forces the hand of it. I think it's more symbolic than anything. But it's not like, okay, we found a vote of no confidence in this person, you're fired. No, it's more of we found no confidence in this person. Okay, well, I've been found no confidence, so I think what I'll do is I'll just step down. But if you have a person who doesn't care what other people think about them, which we have majority of politicians right now, they'll tell you they absolutely care about the public and how everything's going and that their thoughts and their feelings and everything else. And it's like, yeah, thoughts and feelings. Those are the same things that you send out when like kids get shot in school, right? Yeah, okay. They don't actually care. They only care that they've retained their power or gained power. And they will do the song and pony dance to do it. And that's most politicians. There's very few politicians that are in it because they actually care about what the public has to say and what the public wants. Because if every politician truly cared what the public had to say and what they wanted, they would have switched the system and modified it by now in such a way it was one person, one vote. Corporations couldn't vote. Corporations couldn't donate. They would remove they would remove a lot of the systems in play that allow for a lot of the corruption to happen easily and make it much, much harder. I mean, there's always going to be corruption to some point as long as human beings can corrupt. But there would have long since been a lot of changes. That's what our forefathers wanted. They wanted changes to be able to happen because they knew that man was fallible. They knew they were fallible, and they wanted the changes to be able to be made so that when problems were found, they corrected. And don't do. We don't do that unless our hands are first. And by we, I mean not just the politicians, but society as a whole. Case in point, the American Disabilities Act. It took all those disabled people to crawl up the steps at the Capitol to get that thing signed. It was on national television to get that thing signed. And people have forgotten what it took. It took people who couldn't walk, move properly, to literally climb their version of Mount Everest in mass to get that sign. And because of that, companies have to now have a handicap access, ramps, walkways, sidewalks have to have the ramped or sloped concrete so that a wheelchair can get up, not be left out in the middle of the street until some people can come by and lift them up and put them on the sidewalk.
Braille lettering on doors.
Yep. And if people wonder why there's Braille lettering on an ATM when people who are blind can't drive, there are walk-up ATMs as well, and the buttons are produced in mass, not knowing if they're going into a machine that you can walk up or a machine that you can drive up. So that's why they're.
And by the way, for those people that complain about exactly that thing, go fuck yourselves. People have access? Who cares? Oh, these blind people are driving? No, they're in the back seat and they're leaning out the window. They're walking up. And who cares? Go fuck yourselves. Leave these people alone.
I think that's the 3 F-bombs for the show before we have to.
Oh, it's
Four.
more. It's more.
Oh.
It's 4.
I don't know
least.
how many. I don't know how many I've dropped. Should I? I don't.
I know I dropped one.
Well, anyway,
There's
the point is that the trans community heavily targeted by the churches, heavily targeted by the politicians because the churches are getting tons of money, and they're also filled. A lot of the politicians there are really nasty people too. It's going to take them to basically perform their own Mount Everest climb to get legislation signed and put into place where some Oompa Loompa Mussolini can't just pencil whip it out of existence. And until Americans do that, you're going to have guys like, Mr. Rump destroy you.
And kind of back to it, Io. Yeah, you were specifically saying that the no confidence thing. I know full well it's a thing in Canada because we've heard it a couple of times over the border, but it's a UK kind of holdover kind of thing also.
Yeah, it probably came from the UK because Canadian government is modeled after UK government, and we have 4, 5, 6 parties in the House, and they have to work together. If not, one of the parties can ask for a vote of no confidence, and it has to be gone through. And if the ruling government, especially a minority government, cannot get the votes, it will fail, and we have to have an election within 6 to 8 weeks, I think it is. 3 months at the most.
You know,
So technically, Canada can have an election almost any time. It all depends on whether the Universal House, the Universal House, whether the House of Commons falls, whether the Prime Minister goes to the Governor General and says, you know, um, we want to have a vote, or the Governor General says, I don't like you. You don't have enough people anymore. This other this other party has enough people, and they have a coalition with these guys. They're now they're now the Queen's or the King's people, and you're now the loyal opposition to the King. Loyal opposition, which is funny as hell because there was a party at one point that specifically was trying to split Canada up, and they were the Queen's loyal opposition. Bloc Québécois, God, I love them. There is a city in California where 3 of the 5 people are very corrupt, and one of them was a turnover. They got elected in this past year, and actually, the 3 of them were all elected this past year. 2 of them were reelected. One person was replacing somebody that had timed out, and it's the same corruption. Whatever those 3, specifically the mayor, wants, because he's one of them, it goes through. It doesn't matter what it is. And there was a vote recently, and it's left the city liable for millions in potential court damages because there's a lawsuit and they extended the lease to somebody.
In the
Like-
U.S., we have a motion to vacate in the House of Representatives, which can be used to remove the Speaker of the House.
Yeah, that's the Speaker of the House, though.
To remove the president, though, we'd have to have both an impeachment in the House and then a conviction at the Senate.
And the problem is that there's too many Republicans that are not willing to cross party lines and vote for his removal.
no. Vehemently disagree. What we have is a problem where people who have been elected to these offices no longer see a country. They see partisanship only. It's not that there are too many Republicans or that there's too many Democrats or that there's, not enough independents. It's that these people will circle their own wagon instead of seeing what is best for the country. And I'm not trying to browbeat on you.
You're not.
One of the things that we talked about a long time ago was how statesmanship was the way it was expected to operate. It didn't matter what group that you were supposed to be from. What mattered was what was best for the country. Come together with your ideas, hash it out behind closed doors to be able to figure out, okay, who's got what information? What's your information? How does this benefit? How does this hurt? What does the best benefit for the least hurt? Cool, we've got this. This is what we're going to do. Let's go. And it didn't matter which group you were from. What mattered was where your origination point was and where your ideology started from, and people actually talked to each other and hashed out ideas. But now it's all about, we need to win. And I'm saying that not because I'm upset because I was right, but because it works on both sides. And it shouldn't.
It does.
It's not supposed to. That's not the way the government is supposed to operate.
Now, this is interesting.
And that pisses me
Section 4 of the 25th Amendment of the United States Constitution provides a framework for a motion of no confidence against the President of the United States. It's intended to be used in the event of the President's incapacitation, but it is vaguely worded to be applicable in any example of inability to perform the job. That's the key phrase there. The initial motion is issued by the Vice President and a vast majority of the President's cabinet, at which point the President is suspended from duty and the Vice President becomes the acting President. If the president objects to the motion, a second motion of no confidence must be issued, then approved by 2/3 of both the House and the Senate within 3 weeks of the second motion to become permanent. To date, Section 4 of the 25th Amendment, which was originally ratified in 1967, has never been invoked.
It,
It's never needed to be.
Oh, I could
Well-
see some reasons for it now.
Let me
ugh.
let me rephrase that. When Ronald Reagan was shot, he was in hospital, but I don't believe it was for an extended period of time. So, as a quote removal from office, no. As a vice president steps up to handle part of the workload, I don't remember if there was an official or not on that one. I was quite young, and I was not paying attention to politics at the time. I have vague knowledge of things that happened, but, oof. Yeah, I can see where the problem with that is that if your cabinet is a bunch of sycophantic yes men, what are you going to do? Right?
Yep.
If he cannot perform the job, you know what? I do believe. Oh. Is he permitted? I'm going to ask you a question. I do not expect that you have the answer.
Uh-oh.
Canada will not permit, under normal circumstances, a convicted felon into the country. They would be stopped at the border at Border Patrol and turned around and refused entry, generally speaking.
Yes. My own father was not allowed to cross the border for
Okay.
one of two reasons, and one of them is a felony.
Okay. Would that, and again, I expect the answer is going to be, I got no friggin' clue. Would that also extend to air travel through Canadian airspace?
I don't know.
That's fair.
And the annoying thing is, Taco managed to go to the summit in Canada. That was back about a month ago.
Tech, do you remember once upon a time ago that France specifically said that the United States Air Force was not permitted to fly through its airspace because they were conducting some mission or other into the European theater, I believe is where it was. I forgot what this was, but I think this goes back to the late 90s, early 2000s. Does this ring a bell at all?
It rings a bell with me.
It's not ringing a bell just because I was going through a lot at that point in my life.
That's fair.
It rings a bell with me only because Canada has more world news.
And that's fair. I'm wondering, what if a number of other countries had it in their thing that a convicted felon was not permitted in their country, like Canada would, if they would even extend that to, we don't even want them in our airspace, and sanction the air company for having someone come through. I don't know how easy that would be to do, but of course, after the fact. if such a thing, and unable to go anywhere, would that qualify as being unable to do a job? Because you can't fly to a bunch of places?
Yep.
I'm just kind of wondering how vaguely worded we'd be able to twist that, but just having a little fun at my own
The
expense.
problem is Taco has lawyers and diplomatic immunity and Air Force One, and Air Force One goes wherever the hell he says it needs to go. Or rather, his people say his next stop is blah. His next stop is blah. He needs to be here. He needs to be there. It's at the point where he's a puppet. He doesn't just have handlers. He's a marionette on strings. Somebody grabs the ripcord on the back of his butt, pulls it, and he goes blah 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 blah. Best country, greatest country, make America.
We're not going to discuss. We're not going to discuss the self-lubrication at that point for said string. Okay.
No,
We're
he is incapacitated. He has severe dementia. Just looking at him, he can't do a sentence. He can't do a clear sentence. He just rambles and rambles and rambles. Oh, here we go. Thank you, hubby. Paris, France refused to allow U.S. warplanes to cross French territory en route to Libya, criticized the United States Tuesday for setting the stage for a new chain of violence with its bombing raids. Libya's ambassador to France called the airstrikes early Tuesday a declaration of war. U.S. officials said the attack was to avenge Libyan-backed terrorism. This was back in 1986.
Okay,
so yeah, that's why I remember it, because it was in my social studies classes.
Your social studies, fuck me. I was almost getting ready to graduate.
86, I was 14. I would have been in French immersion, so it was in French. So screw you. Screw you.
All right, that's fine. And
then that also depends on whether it was before June or after June in 86. If it was before June, I would have been 13.
You would have also been exposed to more Aquanet than most people do in their lifetime. Stephanie had also mentioned, have you seen the greetings in Scotland? Makes me proud to be in the UK. Yes, I have.
Yeah. Yes, they're using the Trump golf clubs, the Trump golf fields as bathrooms. That's all I'll say.
Like I said, I will go as far as to say yes. Yes, I have. Tech, really quickly, did you see those headlines? Did you go away? Did you turn off your microphone?
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're there.
I'm trying to remember. I'm really tired. Brainy, not working.
That's good enough reason, considering what time it is.
Stephanie's describing Taco as a corpse staggering. And yeah, like I said, a marionette. Somebody's pulling his string. Somebody's keeping him medicated just enough so that he's alive.
I remember the headlines about his veins or his hands or legs or something. Remember the taco stuff. Just brain not working.
That's okay.
I think my brain's toast right now.
Okay.
That's okay.
Did you have any last that you wanted to do, or you just want to call it right there?
No, I'm good. I can't seem to keep a coherent thought right.
Well, I mean, it is,
which is bad for the show. I know, but
it's so dark stupid. I mean, what do we expect after a certain point? Not a worry. Io, if you've got any 15-second, 20-second blurb that you got left, do it.
He said this is from the UPI archives, April 15th, 1986. So yeah, I would have been 13. Oh shit, I know which teacher that was too. Oh boy. Oh. I'm having trauma. Flashbacks to high school. Okay, one, deaths come in three. The problem is it was the wrong three. They missed. Death missed it.
Fair enough.
I've been seeing all over the place. Most awaited obituary ever.
Well, we got the guy with the big black glasses within the last year, so death's finally kind of honing in on some of the better people. Don't worry, I'm not going to name names because nobody needs to, especially if I just talk like this. Sorry.
He should have died back during COVID. It was a miracle medicine from the White House and the White House staff that kept him alive. So that was just a bad cold. And so, of course, he started saying worse things about COVID. Meanwhile, people were dying left, right, and center. The only reason why I'm living in the United States is because the lady that lived here before me died because of COVID. We don't need a repeat of that. And everything that he's doing, everything that his people are telling him he should do, because I don't even think he reads his executive orders. I think he just signs them. Everything he's doing is setting up the United States for massive hurricane, diphtheria, other diseases that come from decaying bodies because of other stuff like that. If there's an earthquake in California, there's not going to be any help. Wildfires all over the Pacific, all over the Pacific coast. Tornado Alley has moved, and where it's moving to is not a place that normally has tornadoes. So he's setting up the United States to be scoured clean. And he's also trying to turn everyone into the S word. SLAV. The latest executive order got rid of a whole bunch of protections for workers. And that, it makes me mad. Unions were formed in order to protect workers because a collective bargaining is better than just one person trying to get something from their bosses. Oh, you want something? You're fired. Oh, they fired you? We're all going to walk off. That's a union.
I'm going to close off with this, and I'm going to make it really, really quick. The idea of the country, this country, was, as it said in the Schoolhouse Rock song, no more kings. Every head of every organization should be able to be removed and replaced fairly frequently before something becomes institutional. To that end, maybe term limits aren't such a bad idea. And I understand that Bernie Sanders said it properly. Term limits are called elections. Cool. Remove the term limits on the president for the same reason, or institute them for every level of government for exactly that same reason. Because an opportunity to get people turned over more often and have less institutionalization means there's less opportunity for long-term corruption to happen. Is it a perfect solution? Of course not. There is none. But I would much rather try to find a way of keeping it out than having to clean it up once it's in. I'm a layperson. What the hell do I know? I'm not versed in politics. I'm just a guy with a microphone and a bad attitude. And right now, we get to call it a night. Thank you for being with us, everybody. We hope that you found something worthwhile in all of our perspectives. You got something to think about for the future ahead. As always, over in the chat, I know full well Doc had to go and get some sleep. So glad you're able to make it, man. And no, I'm not going to use the V word about you. I'm not going to make comparisons of you with Twilight. So don't worry about it. Landon, thank you. Pleasure to have you. Stephanie, as always. And yes, making mention, Midas Touch has a nice listing of those pictures from the UK. Always appreciated to know that one. Io, as always, thank you. Glad you're able to make it. You have yourself a good rest of the weekend and rest well when you do.
I'm hoping to rest well because I'm going to be playing at a casino for a couple of days this week. Date night, date night, date night.
You do know a little something about statistics, right?
Last time I was there, I showed up with $5, left with $150. To me, that's a win.
To everybody, that's a win. So, well done. Tech, thank you. You have yourself a good weekend also. Rest well, which I think is going to be very, very soon at this rate, eh? You do know that you've got your microphone.
Sorry.
You are tired. You forgot you were muted.
Yeah.
You take care of yourself, man. Thank you.
Yeah. You have a good one too.
As always, if you'd like to be in touch with us, get us over in Discord. That's arguably the easiest way. I am changing out some of the information as far as to our contact info, but best way is probably over there. You can get us over on various social medias, including Blue Sky. Always a pleasure to have the interactions over there. Other than that, we will be looking forward to seeing you guys again come next week, assuming everything works the way that it's supposed to. With any luck, maybe we'll be closer to our usual way of doing things. But as always, until the next time we're together, I wish you the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. I wish you well, and of course, as always, my lady, 20 years on, 32 years of marriage on, I am still in love. Mwah. Matane Fujin. I love you. I miss you. Dream of me. Till the next time we're together, everyone, as always, good night.